Hi friends, it's Diana here today, and today we are doing another hack. Today I'm going to be making this top right here, and I'm going to be using the slow Sunday bodice with the v-neck, and I'm going to be adding the bishop sleeves. I love these sleeves and I love how this combination looks, so I can't wait to show you. Now, if you want to know how to do this little sheer in detail here, you're going to have to watch our other video where I show you just exactly how I hacked the bishop sleeve to have this beautiful sheared sleeve here. So anyway, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to be using double brush poly, and it's so gorgeous. I'm super excited about this. I'm going to be doing the v-neck version, so I'm just removing. I just kind of tape it down when I'm doing the different versions of this pattern. But really what you could do too is you could print two different versions of the front. That way you have one that's the v-neck and one that's the scoop, and then you don't have to kind of untape it every time and, you know, mess with it. But you know, I like to mess with it and get upset when it doesn't work correctly. So I'm making the regular bodice, and then what I'm going to do is I folded. I don't want this one to have like a big side, so already has like the slim side here, but I folded it even one more little snap right here to make it more streamlined at the bottom. So it's going to be more of a straight, like it just flares out just a tiny bit, and that's all I want to do. And I'm going to do the same for the front and for the back right here. I'm not even changing the shape of my arm side. This is the sleeved version. I'm just going to use the same arm side, because the really cool thing about the this bishop sleeve is the fact that this right here is a lot wider than it needs to be to fit. So like if I was to grab it and fold it in half, what? Okay. You can see that it's bigger than my arm size. See that? And so I'm going to anyway gather this to fit, so I don't have to change the shape of my arm side here, which works out great. So I'm just cutting the slow Sunday, just tucking in the side a little bit. I'm cutting it all like it's supposed to be, and I'm cutting my my bishop sleeve just like it's supposed to be, except for I'm going to stop right about here because I want to make a 3/4 sleeve version. So I'm gonna just fold it in half and cut it like right here. So it's gonna be just a straight line. Let's cut all this up. Well, I didn't mention too that I'm folding the back seam here because I'm not going to sew that back together. I'm just omitting that seam allowance there and just leaving it. And what I'm going to do is kind of just place this one on top, the front, and make sure that the length is the same. Yeah, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure of that, but it looks good. From the bishop sleeve, from the short side, I took 4.5 inches up from the short side, 4.5 inches from like the edge, 4.5 inches from the edge. On this side, it goes like, yeah, 4.5. That's what I'm taking off. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my bodice back and my bodice front, then we're going to match up the shoulder seams. We're matching them up right sides together, and I'm going to sew with a stretch stitch on my sewing machine or with my serger, which I'm going to be using a serger for this project, but a stretch stitch on your sewing machine would be great. While I'm over there, I'm also going to go ahead and prep my neckline. And since I'm doing a v-neck, I'm going to fold it right sides together and sew a little V shape right here on my neckline. All right, like I said, I want to start at that point. It just makes it easier for me, I think, to start at that point and then go to the side. And like I said, this is the reason why I like to leave it straight, because if I was gonna have to, if I had already cut it and I was gonna sew right beside it, it would be harder for me to keep it straight. And so now I'm gonna go from that point again and go towards the other side. All right, so I probably should have gone and sewn the sides right away, because since I'm doing the bishop sleeve on this, the bishop sleeve is going to be sewn in on the round. So what I'm going to do is I am going to sew the sides together first. And since I'm here, I'll go ahead and attach my neckband by quartering my neck and attaching it right sides to my neckband. Now remember, I told you my sleeves are going to be inset, which means I'm going to grab my sleeve, fold it right sides together, and I'm going to sew that side right sides together, the raw edge. This sleeve, I did something a little bit different, and we will have a video release on how to do this type of sleeve. So if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. This is done with shirring, but if you don't want to do this type of sleeve, if you have your regular bishop sleeve, then you can just go ahead and hem it and sew it right sides together here at the bottom, or put the cuff in for the bishop sleeve. And if you have questions about how to put the cuff in for the bishop sleeves, we do have a video tutorial on how to do that. We actually have a ton of video tutorials here on our channel of like all different tips and tricks and stuff like that. So if you have some downtime that you're like want to catch some tutorials and stuff like that, or if you're sewing and you like tutorials in the background, I recommend you follow our channel and check out all the different tutorials. You could just leave it on play all, and then it'll start playing all those awesome tutorials for you. Once I sew this together, I'm also going to go up to my sewing machine and put in a basting stitch, which is a long straight stitch all the way around the top of my sleeve, because I'm going to gather the sleeve to fit into my bodice. And since it's folded and the half, I'm going to just mark at the top right here. That way I know that that's where I want my sleeve to hit at when I am sewing it on. All right, let's go do all that. All right, I'm gonna up my stitch length to a 5, and I'm just going to put in that stretch stitch all the way along the top edge of the sleeve. All right, so here we go with the neck art about 1 inch away, and I'm gonna face my neckline up so I can see exactly where I'm going. You wanna make sure that all your fabrics, your 3 layers are touching. I'm going to start about 1 inch away and go up to that half point. Okay, and then when I get there, I'm going to make sure that everything is nice and even the other way and go down. Take that off. You will see that my V-neck right here is nice and completed. You see that? It goes in and up. And there's my V-neck. Easier than you think. We can go ahead and trim here so it's nice and even, but I'm going to go over to my serger and start here at this point and serge all the way around and come right back out at this point. And that's how we attach our neckband. All right, now that our neckband is finished, we're gonna turn our shirt inside out because, and I'm just gonna trim in all these threads, we're gonna fit our sleeve into our arm side. Here's our sleeve, and this one I marked where my back is here. So this is my front. So you wanna make sure that, I'm gonna turn my sleeve right side out. I wanna make sure that the marked pieces, here's the back marked, is gonna end up on the back. So this one is the one that goes on this side. First, I'm going to match up the bottom, the armpit seam where I sewed the sleeve together, and here at the bottom of the armpit. And then I'm going to go to the top and match up where I marked the top of my sleeve, where I marked that notch right there. And that's going to go on my shoulder. I'm going to I'm going to pin or clip right here at the bottom. And then I'm going to use that basting stitch to pull my thread to gather my sleeve to fit into my arm side. So we're giving it a little gather, which will give it a little poof and a little pizzazz And it's gonna look super cute. So we're sewing right sides together here, gather it to fit. Do the same on the other side here. The bottom just gets sewn straight, right sides together at the raw edge, and then you're gonna pull on that basting stitch and gather to fit. And now we're gonna sew that on and do the same for the other sleeve. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do with this top is hem the bottom of our top, which I'll do at the same time. I'm gonna hem at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now, once our sleeve is attached, the last thing we got to do is use a little, what I tuck this serger tail in, what I like to do is I like to fold the tail in over the seam allowance and top stitch it down. And once I do that, then you've got a seamless, there's no seam allowance here. I gotta trim all these thread. So I'm gonna zigzag stitch this over here to top stitch it down. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Now, don't forget to go check out the other tutorials where I show you the shearing on the sleeve and how to perfect this V-neck right here. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you try this hack. Let me know if you're gonna try it, and let me know what other things you wanna see. If there's a couple patterns that you're like, I wonder if they would go together, or I wonder how I could hack this pattern, comment below and let me know, and you may see a video coming up on it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!